Let's go beyond the headlines tonight. Let's go deeper on UFO reports. Joining me to discuss this is a noted astrophysicist and professor of science at Harvard University, Avi Loeb, also the author of the best-selling book, Extraterrestrial, The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth. Professor Loeb, people have read your book to figure out what you think. Now that we know this commission is being formed, what is your running theory of what these are?
Well, thanks for having me. As a scientist, I'm guided by evidence. So I don't have access to classified data. I think we're seeing just the tip of the iceberg. The government owns a lot of data. And a few months ago, I established the Galileo project, whose goal is to assemble new data that will be open and that we will analyze using the scientific method. So we are currently starting to build telescope systems. The first one will be on the roof of the Center for Astrophysics on the Harvard University campus, and then we'll make copies of it and put it in various locations. And the goal would be to figure out the nature of these unidentified objects that we hear about.
Well, the title of your book, Extraterrestrial, do you think there are intelligent beings out there?
Well, I think it's presumptuous of us to think that we are privileged in any way. We are not at the center of the universe. What we find in our backyard is very common. The Earth-Sun system is very common within the Milky Way galaxy and beyond. And moreover, we're probably not the smartest kid on the block.
Let's presume for a moment that this might be, I don't know what to call it, human-based, terrestrial, whatever it would be. China, we now know, is way ahead in supersonic technology. They do quantum computing. They're really good at some stuff. Is it a big leap to think maybe they've mastered aircraft that seem to defy the laws of tech and nature as we know them?
Well, there are two ways to address it. One is intelligence, to figure out what other nations are doing, and I would argue that we probably know quite well. But the second is to monitor these objects and get more data on them and analyze it in the scientific way. And there might be some features of these objects that humans have not been able to produce at all, that violate some, limitations of our current technologies. And the only way to find out is to get more data, more evidence.
You're a scientist. As you look around the field, I mean, we all know scientists have pretty well figured out how the world began millions and millions of years away. What is so hard about identifying an aircraft a couple hundred yards away from a camera?
Oh, it's just that we are not examining this subject scientifically, and the subject was ridiculed in the past. There was stigma attached to it. That was already mentioned in the report from the Director of National Intelligence to Congress on the 25th of June. And when you are not seeking evidence, then you don't find it. That's pretty simple. And what the Galileo project aims to do is to break this mold and try and figure out what is going on out there, because I think it's the duty of scientists to help the government in identifying the nature of these unidentified aerial phenomena.
This commission obviously has the world's eyes. I know that you have your own project, Hard Charging Galileo Project, and going to keep writing on this. I am fascinated to see what you and others find. Professor Avi Loeb, thank you.
Thanks for having me.